Welcome to the Bamboo Method, Investing in the Unseen, a show about what it's like to play the long game. With fast food, 2-day shipping, and so-called overnight success stories, we live in a world that tells us if you don't see results by tomorrow, maybe it's just not worth it. But anything worth building usually takes time. So we're here to ask, what are the things that are worth putting in the work and investing in, even if we don't see results for a long time? Today's guest is Jessica Hannesson, founder of Hannesson Home Interiors and Made for Home, businesses that create spaces centered around how people feel and connect, be it through home goods, kitchen and bath remodels, or full-service interior design. Jessica's journey began in a small town in Montana, growing up around entrepreneurship and a deep sense of home. Her creativity and passion eventually led her to interior design school at Montana State University, then to cutting her teeth at a local business in Billings, Montana. Over time, Jessica wanted to create a holistic interior design experience of her own, and Hannesson Home Interiors was born. In this episode, Jessica talks about building both a business and a family, the unseen years behind overnight success, and how hustle doesn't always last.
Hi, Jess. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Well, we're excited to have you and really excited to hear what you have to say. We'll get into personally this idea of things that we nurture that take a long time to bear any fruit or results.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is that for you in your personal life? What are you nurturing right now?
I mean, I think the obvious answer would probably be my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most literal and sense of the word, right? You're watching them from an infant stage to growing up and kind of trying to nurture this little human while you're like figuring it out. There's no playbook, right? And so, I think that would be the one thing that I would say that I'm trying to nurture the most is my kids. Just because I feel like they're our most important work. And at the end of the day, especially as our businesses grow, I feel like the number one thing is I feel like you do it for your kids, right? Yeah. It's about building something, because at some point, right, Christian and I, like we're building these businesses and trying to build an empire, right? And at some point though, we're the ones grinding this out. We're maybe not going to enjoy it like my kids probably will, hopefully at the end of the day. And so I think that we want to build a legacy for them and also show them that this is like this, all things are possible. And also help them, like my mom did, help them see what their dream would be and help them navigate that at such a young age. It's hard to know, but if you're super in tune with your kids, hopefully you can help them see where their potential is and where they could go with their future. And so I would say the kids are probably and will always be, even when I'm 80, the thing that I'm always trying to nurture.
Yeah. And how do you ride that balance with business, building an empire, kids at home, and even that tension of it takes a lot of little things, daily things, weekly things that you're hoping will pan out to bear some fruit. How do you ride that tension?
I think there's different seasons of it. I think there's been times, unfortunately, and I always joke with everybody, but it's kind of sad. Well, it's not sad, but it was a choice. But I think I forgot to have more kids because Hannesson Home was my third kid, and then Made for Home. And I think in the early stages of business, I did have to sacrifice less time with my kids in the beginning, for sure. And I think that is something that, I don't know if you could be okay with it, but it's a choice, right? And that was something that I still made them my priority. But at the same time, like when I went and put them to bed at night, sometimes I'd have to go back down to the store, or I would get the laptop out, or and so, in the early days, it is, you do have to sometimes make choices. Sometimes it's not a balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, okay, I do have to do this and I have to, and then I got to figure out a plan to be able to transition out of it. And so I think that it's just navigating that and also having a spouse that is super supportive. And we both were riding that wave together, and we just, we pick each other up when the other one needed it. And I think that is important. And then I think there is times as we grow grow the businesses, you know, you got to then start looking at, okay, like this isn't sustainable anymore. And so finding the right people to put into positions to take some of that burden off of your plate. And so I think it's also crucial as we grow, which I'm navigating currently and still learning how to do this. But I would say that a lot of it is predicated too on your scale and growth with who you put in place to help you do that. Finding the right employees, finding the people that are going to fill in certain roles and be able to go with you, that believe in your vision and are going to work hard alongside you. Because as a small business, you're going to do a lot more tasks than are comfortable, right? You don't have the money to hire everything out. And so you just got to stretch thin for a minute and then hopefully keep going. And then also just taking the jump and hoping like, okay, I'm going to invest in this person or in this role. And then I know that that has to be able to turn into XYZ to help us grow too. So I think that it's a mixture of things. I'd love to tell you, oh, you can navigate it and it will be fine. And that there is 100% balance and you can have it all. But there is moments that you do have to choose. And sometimes you don't like the choice. At the end of the day, you pick, I think it's important to know what your number ones are.
Yeah.
Your non-negotiables. And that is my husband and my kids. And so with that always in mind, yes, if I did have to work late or whatever, you know, that like you may do that once or twice or you have to, but you know that that's not going to become a habit because you do have your number ones and everything has to support those number ones. Because honestly, if I had to choose, I'd be like, oh, burn it all to the ground. I'm taking my family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's not the number one thing on your radar. And so you have to just navigate it. And there is hard times and you have to get through it together. But if you make it a priority and if that is your number one, you will find a way to make it still to where they don't feel like you didn't choose them or whatever. Because my kids, I would hope, would say that I don't miss anything. I'm always there. Like I'm not going to, you know? But then that might mean that I have to work super late here or work the weekend here. And that is probably the balance as much as it's not like maybe ideal to most.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just have to do what you have to do as a small business to try and grow and get to the other side that you're like, oh, I'm proud. That was a moment that I didn't love, but it got us here and I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Were there any times in that you were thinking, I don't want to do this anymore?
Oh, Sam, so many.
Like almost pushed you to, that wasn't like momentary. Were there any times where you almost did transition out of entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, right? You would think that was in the beginning stages, which it was a little bit, but it was exciting then. Sure. I would say actually, even within the last 6 months, I've had those thoughts.
Yeah.
And so I think, and that the highlight reels of social media, man, Oof. It's just, it ain't it, you know? And as a business owner and when you're growing and the stuff, if I could put the real stuff on social media, nobody's ready. Nobody wants to hear all that. I mean, they do, but they don't. And you have to like maintain this level of leadership and professionalism and all the things too. And take the high road a lot. And so there's always going to be those moments that are like, oh, how bad do you want it? And I think that's part of it, right? Like, how bad do you really want it? And then, you know, you sink your teeth back in and you get going. But there's, especially, I would say growth is, I feel like growth is harder to navigate than starting.
Absolutely.
I will.
Absolutely.
Because when you start, it's so simple.
Yeah.
And it's not, right? It's scary. But you just, you in a lot of ways, you're kind of blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
You know, you just jump in, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, and you're on fire, right? You got the hustle. Like, that was my mantra when I started Hannesson Home was hustle. That was just like, I could have tattooed it across my forehead. It's just hustle, get up, go to work, show up.
Yeah.
And so, and you still do that, but after like going on 6 years, you're like, whew, you know, what does hustle look like to me now, you know? Yeah, it's not sustainable.
No, that's the thing is like hustle can pay the bills for like 6-8 years or so.
Yeah.
You know, you can just hustle. It'll keep you going.
Yeah, it will.
And almost deceivably, is that a word? Deceivably long.
Yeah.
making you think like hustle's just
I'm
gonna
so
keep me
good
going,
at
and then at
this.
some point that'll fade.
Yeah.
And it's like then growing comes in, because if you just keep pounding the sand like that.
Yeah. And it's rewarding. It's all the things, but at the same time, you're like, okay, the hustle can only go so far. Yeah. Like I can only stretch so far. And I would say 100%, I'm way more busy than I ever was when I first started. I put on more roles, more hats, more. My beginner self would look at me now and be like, holy cow. Yeah. Like, how are you gonna, what are you going to do with all this? And I think so, I don't know. It's just navigating growth, because it's big expenses. It's a lot on the line. It's more people that rely on you. It's a lot of things. And so that, and then knowing how to, as a control freak, knowing how to also offload some of that stuff and be okay with it maybe not being to what you would do, right? Like learning to not be okay with that task being done to what I would expect at 100%. Because maybe my 100% is still, like maybe that person I put in that role at 70 or 80%, that still might be really great to everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's another thing in entrepreneurship that you learn is like, your 100% on every task maybe isn't even that important. Yep. Maybe that task can be at 80%, and that's still really awesome for what my standard would be. You know what I mean? And so I think it's navigating all those things and also finding the right people to take your baby, love it like you, and also see it through. And those are hard people to find. Yeah. But at the same time, when you find them, you're like, oh, this is my person. Mm-hmm. I'm going to death grip that person now. Yeah. Like, you are mine. Like, you're coming with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think growth is way scarier than starting.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you think about your home and what you want it to feel like for your girls, what is that?
A place they just want to be, and a place they always want to come back to. Or even just a place where they feel safe. I think that there's the world and in such a ever-changing culture, right? With social media, with the internet, with AI, with what that all unknown stuff looks like. I think that for me, I want my home to feel like going back to the basics a little bit. Human connection, conversations, safety, almost like a 90s childhood, like my childhood was. Like, how do I give that to my kids to feel like, okay, this truly is what is important in life, and you can get caught up in the things that, or what society feels like you need to keep doing, and the ceiling's going to always keep going up, right? And it's easy to always feel like you're not doing enough. And so in a world that is telling you maybe you're not, you can come home and be like, okay, no, like, this is good. Like, coming back to, I think us as humans were born to have is like just that interaction and conversations and just human connection. Mm-hmm. I always say the best compliment somebody could give me is if they come into my home and take a nap. Like, if they come in and they just take a nap, I'm like, oh yeah, get on the blanket, get the food cooking, like just welcoming people into your home and things like that, I think is a very understated special thing that you can do.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. The safety to be able to just like relax,
just turn it all off,
that you can fall asleep.
Yeah.
In someone else's home.
Yep. It's the best.
Yeah. I mean, best even compliment. That idea makes me feel anxious to like think about sleeping at someone else's home. I'm like, ugh, so that, I think to like that safety. What are some things that you guys do regularly that establish that safe place for the girls and for your whole family?
I think, for us, I would say that it's not always like, it doesn't have to be like big things, right? It can be as simple as just, I think making it a point to have and trust me, I'm not making home cooked meals every night. We've had Jimmy John's, I think, like 5 times in the last week alone. So like, it doesn't have to be just it's like this. It has been this is a little bit of an outlier, but so even if you are picking up Jimmy John's or picking up sushi, like, we're going to sit down. Yeah. We're going to talk as a family and be like, okay, how was everybody's day?
Love that.
Give me a good and give me a bad, you know, like just being present and listening and just being there for your kids instead of having distractions, right? And it's hard. My phone is blowing up all the time. I have emails coming in, the website's down, oh, this product isn't going, my Meta ad stopped running. Like, there's always going to be things that I could be doing for the businesses, but I also believe that God made me have my family because he knew I would work myself into oblivion. And so they are even my pause button, right? Yeah. They force me to pause. And I think that's important. And so I would say it's not big things always. I think it's just, for me, it's creating cozy environments. It's making them, because even kids, like when you put up the Christmas tree, watch your kids' face.
Yeah.
Like it's special.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm not saying that you have to have this curated, beautiful home, but if you do little things, like you're building the thing that I think that we don't think about enough is like, I have my what makes me feel like all the nostalgic feelings. Right. Yeah. And I think about all the things that my mom and dad did. Well, I'm doing that now for my kids.
Yep.
So like I do put up a Christmas village every year, and I feel like my kids are going to be like, when they get older and they come back, they're going to see that and be like, oh, it's going to give them that nostalgic feeling. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're doing now, we got to remember, like, it's okay to keep old stuff. Like, it's okay to keep the same Christmas tree and the same ornaments every year, because your kids might find that really nostalgic when they get older, so it doesn't have to be always evolving. And I know I'm saying that as like, we're always evolving with home, everything, but at the same time, like, nostalgic and building a home doesn't always have to be flashy. It can be just subtle things that make people feel loved, or that this home is lived in. This is our home.
Yeah.
It's not just a shell. This is who we are. This is us,
Yeah.
And so I would say it's being present more than anything for your kiddos, and then just creating an environment that feels cozy and feels like you and not a vacant shell.
I love that. Yeah. I love the like little points of consistency.
Yeah.
And like how much it's so easy as a parent, as a business owner, the idea that it's got to be big and perfect.
Yeah.
And I think social media has
and I even struggle with that to some degree,
it's
right?
So tough to think like, oh, I got to have all these big moments.
Yeah.
But how much of life, and maybe all of life, is actually a lot of little moments.
Totally.
And little things.
Yeah.
And I know as a dad, like I've struggled with, it's like, okay, I got to do these, like, but it's transition to like, if I can just get a lot of little moments every day and push the needle every day, and even business, right? We can think it's all these big steps.
Totally.
It's a lot of little moments that just, can we push it a little bit? Take a step every day, and you see where you've gotten. And I think that's all the big memories I have as a kid, all the fond memories, a lot of little moments when I think about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like these big trips or
no.
It was like the things that are truly special. I like the little conversations.
The things that happen in the everyday life.
Yes, absolutely.
The little moments, the little conversations. Yeah, it's not, and that's what makes the whole encompassing memories of when you were younger, and how you bring that in later in life. And I think it's just honestly just being present in a world that wants you distracted. I think that's probably the number one thing.
Absolutely. What have you carried on tradition-wise from when you were a kid, thinking about like the home? Is there anything that's been a golden thread through your life?
I feel like I don't have like any weird traditions necessarily. Mine are all probably pretty like blueprint. I would say my parents just did holidays big. Not big, actually. They were very modest. I would just say my mom made every holiday and birthday feel special.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just what I always try to do is I'm the girl that likes to celebrate birthdays. They're important to me. I'm like, let's celebrate them, and even with holidays and stuff and just decorating and all those things, I think just doing that type of stuff is probably my traditions, just making those moments feel special.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, transitioning to the business side of things.
Yeah.
What in the business, and you could get with one specific or something you've carried through all of them, what are you nurturing in these days?
Nurturing. I would say, it
could also be something that you've nurtured over the course of the years that you're starting to see the fruit of now.
Okay. So I would say, again, I think that people, especially when Hannesson Home opened, they just thought like right away, like, oh man, what instant success. or maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I do hear people say like, wow, like you have great big projects. Like they're so big. Like you must feel so lucky that you have these big projects and like right away, like this instant success. And and they're right. I'm so thankful. Like we've been so lucky to have the projects that we do and to get to be a part of some really amazing things. But the thing they don't know is the 7 years before Hannesson Home opened.
Yeah.
That was a lot of relationships. That was a lot of grinding. And I met some amazing people in those 7 years. And I did a lot of houses, lot of houses. And so, they just see the Hannesson Home Days and what that looks like now. But it's like, man, there really wasn't a lot of we did some social media stuff, but not a ton. And so like nobody saw all those projects that aren't in the magazines now, or we didn't even hire photographers back then to shoot them, Yeah. And so those 7 years were a grind. I didn't have these projects until truly like 8-9 years in.
Yeah.
Like if you think about that, I think some people now, because of social media, people open up a design firm or they're wanting to do something in this industry and they're like, gosh, Hannesson Home, just like they have these, like, how are they getting those projects? And it's like, well, I haven't done this for over a decade.
Yeah.
Like I'm going on year 13.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing the last 5. And even the first 2 weren't that glamorous, but it's also the uncomfortable stuff, right? It's going out, it's building community, it's meeting people, it's selling yourself. It's not just posting something on Instagram and praying somebody calls. That was never my journey. My journey was going to the job sites. It was looking at the floor plans. It was talking to the contractors, and it was putting myself out there in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm going to bring you donuts next week. Like, like how many times is it going to take until I get your business? Like it's being in the uncomfortable situations. And I will say in the last few years, we've been so fortunate. We do have people that call now. We do have people that come to us. And it's not as much pounding the pavement and going and finding them. Yeah. They are finding us. And that is something I'm so thankful for. But what they're not seeing was the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And even like even my team now that I have, it's like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
Like these projects just didn't come through the door. I know maybe from the perspective that you're seeing it, they're just coming in the door and they're here. And like now we do these big projects. It's like, man, this is what I've wanted. For so many years, is to be a part of these types of or being on projects that value hiring a designer, because half the time too, we're educating people on what that even is in our market. It's not, I mean, there is a lot of amazing designers in this town, but we still are not like maybe bigger populations where every project has a designer on them.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we are educating people on what we do and why you would hire us. And you don't just wedge us in. You can't say, well, I have $1,000 budget. Well, you ain't going to get us for $1,000.
Yeah.
Like that, like we are literally your full-time employees pretty much for a year, 2 years. We had a project that just wrapped up after 2.5 years. Like think about that. Like it's a big deal. And so, I think that's the thing that I have been nurturing that nobody really saw is that this was not an instant success. This was actually a grind. And those first 7 years, nobody saw me. I mean, my clients did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did do a lot of houses. But at the same time, like nobody saw those. Nobody's seen those projects. Nobody's even seen 7 years of my work. Like think about that. Like I did 7 years full time, weekends, working late. And I don't even think I have one of those projects on our social media. 7 years of work is nowhere. And that's just because that was just more when I opened Hannesson Home, I'm like, okay, I have to kind of run this like a media company. We're a visual business. People need to see what we do. But like, there was a lot that went into that before now. And yes, we have these amazing ones now, but that was also something that we had to work towards and nurture for a long time and are still nurturing to try and still continue to get them. Like you can't get complacent. Nope. You have to be customer obsessed. How can we give them the best experience? And I will die on that hill. That is the number one thing, is what is a customer experience? It's not about me. It's not about anybody else. It's about our customers. And how can we give them the magic? How can we give them all those feelings and care enough and be honest, hardworking, all those things? That is the number one thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
What you gave a little bit of a glimpse of what that grind looked like. Get into some of the like nit and gritty of like, I took them donuts. Like, what were some of the things you're like, I'm going to do this consistently because I know, like, what were some of those things?
So I think the thing that is so different now is like, you can go on social media and find a lot of builders, or you can find a lot of contractors, or like, how would you get in front of people wanting to do remodels and stuff? And so back then that wasn't really the case. And even still now, sometimes when it gets slow, like, we're going to revert back to our old practices too. So it's like, okay, a lot of, like, when I was first starting, the first thing that Randy Most had told me is like, go get in your car and drive. Go look for holes in the ground. Go look for people moving dirt. Get the sign. The nice thing is that builders usually have a sign with their phone number on it. And so I would go and I would drive and I'd write down every single phone number and the contractor's name. And a lot of times, if I was feeling brave enough, they almost always have a floor plan on the job site. And so I would walk out there, and I mean, I still do this. I did this like 6 months ago. And so it's just, you walk on the job site and you say, okay, is a contractor here? Who is the contractor? And sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And then you call them. But if they are there, it's like, okay, no, we have a floor plan here. Do you mind if I just scale it really quick? Like, bring my little scale, and I would sketch it in a notebook and I'd scale it. I'm like, I'll have a quote to you within like the next few days. If you would just at least give me like some time to meet with me. And it's, the crazy part is a lot of those contractors now have retired, And so like, but that was that was something that I did to start out. Like, you just have to get your name out there. It was a commission sales job. Like you're going out there and you're going to you got to go find your business. And then back then too, you'd send out flyers or you would run TV ads, and that was like what you did. And so, and sometimes you say, okay, I'll bring you donuts tomorrow. Like, I just want to get just let me quote it. Just let me just throw a bid your way. And so that's truly 7 years what I did for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a grind. What a cool picture. And it's so true that people don't see that.
No, because it wasn't a big project. It could have been like a vanity.
Yeah.
It could be like, okay, you have a vanity. Okay, it's a 3-foot wide vanity and a laminate countertop. I got this. Yeah. And you're driving out to the house and you're bidding it, you're quoting. You might get it, you might not. And so, yeah, it's just, it wasn't always big projects. Even now, it's not all big projects.
Yeah.
We have a lot of small projects, and I'm just as thankful for those as I am the big ones. Mm-hmm. It's an honor for somebody to call us. It's an honor for them to pick up the phone and think, I want to call Hannesson home. That's a gift. Mm-hmm. And I tell my team, it is a gift when somebody calls us. Like, that is like something that we should be thankful for, no matter the size. And maybe it doesn't make sense for us or whatever, or doesn't even make sense for the client to hire us for full service for something that's smaller or something. Then we should give them a recommendation of somebody that could do that project for them. Like, help guide them, create value in you, even if they don't hire you.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just, I think that it's not always big. And yes, those are the ones that hit the Instagram. But some of my favorite projects have been small.
Yeah.
And I think that's largely because of the people too.
Yeah. Well, I also love the relationship. It's like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to where they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to like talk to them face to face.
Yes.
And I'm not going to ask them to come to me. Mm-mm. And even in like the bidding, it's like, I'm not going to say like, I'm going to give you everything you need to make a decision. I'm going to do a lot of the work to make a bid, come to you. Mm-hmm. And that is a grind. Yeah. And I'm sure you had to get very familiar with and comfortable with failure and rejection in that. Yeah.
And there was a lot of failure, and even now there's still a lot of failure. Once you raise your stakes, the blows are a little bit harder to hit when you don't get them, right?
Yep.
Because there's always like somebody might always race you to the bottom line. And so at that point you're like, man, I hope they just see enough value in me too. Like, I hope that they think that I'm worth it, because I'm not just a transaction-based person. A lot of my clients end up becoming like family members at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's just hard not to when you're around somebody and it's something so personal like their home. Like, you are going to build those relationships, and it is personal. Yeah. Like, and I don't think that it's a bad thing to admit that. Business is like, oh, it doesn't need to be emotional. It doesn't mean, and it's like, well, like, maybe a little.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, is that the worst? Like, is it bad to be? I always say, like, I'm sorry, I'm a feeler. I am a feeler. Like, I'm not going to be that callous person that can just do business decisions that I don't think about all the time. Like, that is me to my core. That is what I am. And I'm not going to I can't be who I'm not. And I've tried that. It didn't work out. So I am a feeler. Call me the woman in business that's emotional about something, but yeah, I am. Where are we putting the Christmas tree? where are we going to have the kids like feel like the homework rooms or whatever? Like, let's be weird about it. Let's make something special. Like, let's go there. Why not?
Absolutely. I don't know. For me, that's like comforting to think like someone I'm working with is going to care about my emotions.
Yeah.
Because it's 100%. Like, I can't turn those off. You think about like the home is personal.
Yes.
If it's just all going to be about business.
Yeah.
Like, well, then I got to shut that off. And you're not going to care about how I feel about how this might turn out.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a tension there, but I can't shut that off.
No, because we care, right? Yeah. You want, like you should want us to care, and we do care. And that I think is our secret sauce.
I love that. Mm-hmm. What a good secret sauce. We'll move on to the next question after. I'd love to hear, do you have any like tips for in this day and age? Mm-hmm. And you just started a business, so maybe you implemented some of them. Mm-hmm. What does it look like to grind right now?
Grinding right now is different, I would say for sure, than it was in the beginning. Gosh, it's hard because I would say like something that the grind for me now, as you know, when you're a small business, you eventually take on every role, right? You bring all of them on, and then everything else is growing and you're like, okay, I have to offload something, right? And so I would say like grinding for me now is managing more of a manager role. And so like managing my team, making sure that my vision, everything I just told you, is being replicated even if I'm not on the project. Mm-hmm. So the grind right now is communicating the vision, still finding the people, still being present, still creating, but still managing our growth. And we're building a new building. How can I make sure that that step of growth is going to be what it was when we were small, but also being okay that we're not small and leaning into the fact that we are growing. But how do I keep that humble mentality, not even humble, but like that small town feeling that I love so much about what I built, you know? And so I think it's just, I would say hustle now is more like managing all of the moving parts, but yet still getting back into my grinding seat and being like, okay, I'm going to call these builders. Like, it's looking slow. I got to go put back on my sales hat. I have to get back in the arena, you know, but then also I have all these manager roles that I've taken on too. And so I would say that is something that I am navigating currently, is realizing what I do like and what I don't want to do anymore. And the hustle right now is just, it's all of it. It's not just hustling, getting sales and telling people who you are. Now it's making sure the people you're hiring knows who you are, has the same vision, wants to go the same direction, and also that the back end of the business is ready to do the same. So it's more analytical, I would say the hustle is now, but also then I still have to do everything I was doing in the beginning too. Sure.
Yeah. A lot of refining.
A
lot of managing.
Totally.
But I love that you're still not above any role that might present itself. It's like there's no arrival. We still grind it out. We still got to hustle.
See, at the end of the day, I gotta bring this baby home. It's on my shoulders. Yeah. You know, so any role and every role where there's one lacking or where one needs more attention, that's my new role. Yeah.
Hey everyone, Wade here. Before we get to the final question, if you like the show so far and want to hear more, you can support the Bamboo Method on Patreon. There you can listen to the full director's cut of this conversation and help make this show possible.
That's, I think, another pivotal moment where you're like, okay, I could either keep riding this wave or I could scrap it and kind of start over in a way. And ultimately, it was my brother who said, Jess, like the cabinet center, that's not you? He's like, you got to believe that you're going to make something greater and better with the vision that you have. And it was him saying like that, like just being so honest and just like calling it like he saw it, which he's really good at. And I was like, you're so right. And so I scrapped it, and we did have 2 locations at the time, and I did close the one up in the Heights. And I was like, okay, I'm focusing on making this one space great. Yeah. And so that's how Hannesson Home was born.
Transitioning to our final question.
Yeah.
What do you need to get rid of? What do you need to say no to? What are you nurturing that you wish you weren't?
It's funny as we talk about like the beginning and where I'm headed and where I've been. I don't want to do the managerial roles. That is one thing I think I'm really finding is, like I said, when you are a small business, you become everything. And it's slowly, as you grow, it's all good things, right? You're doing all these amazing stuff, and you're communicating, you're talking, you're like this, this figure for these things that you're building, and it's a lot. And I get like 160 emails a day, and I get 100 text messages a day, and I get my phone calls and the voicemails and the Instagram messages, it's all the time. And so I would say the thing that I've really in the last year I always thought when I first started Hannesson Home that I had to be the CEO boss lady, right? I have to be this. Yeah. I have to be this for the employees. I have to be this for every piece of this business. I have to be this type of leader. And what I've realized, even so much so in the last 3 to 4 months, I don't want to do that. I could do it, right? I could do that role. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I had a moment specifically with my operations person that I have in our company in Christian. And I said, I don't want to, I'm going to burn up. I'm having a moment where I'm like, oof, maybe I should just quit, scrap it all, and just start over with the new version that I like. Because it sometimes feels so far gone.
Yeah.
I'm so out here in this space. And I'm like, I don't want to be in that space. I love being creative, and I love my clients. Those are actually what bring me the most joy. And being in people's homes and designing spaces. And it's funny, as I grew, I got pulled away from that. I got pulled out of doing the creative stuff.
Yeah.
I became more of a relationship person with clients, but I also felt like I slowly got pulled out of the thing that I love most with now the projects I would love to be a part of more than anything. Yeah. I finally got to this point that I've wanted to get to my whole career.
Yeah.
And now I'm being pulled out of it.
Yeah.
Into more of a CEO role. And I, my younger self would be like, yeah, CEO. I'm overrated.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I think that and I think a CEO can look a lot of different things, right?
Sure.
But for me, it's I kind of like being in the trenches more. I like being in the design. I like looking at the fabrics. I like being that creative person, and who knows, I could change in a year from now, but I want to be with my clients and I want to be on the projects, and I know I can't do every project. But I want to touch them at some point, almost all of them, because that's what brings me joy. If I keep having to do more of, and I also want to see the future. I want to build the future for the company, because once I get too bogged down in all the day to day, I don't have any time to dream.
Yeah,
you work a 9 to 5, and the growth won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I need time to have a vision. I need time to be in that creative space. And if I'm constantly bogged down with task after task after task just to maintain, that's where I found I don't get to dream. I don't, and that I just bought myself a job, and that was never what I wanted.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be the creative, and so I feel like that's something that I've been nurturing, and it's just grown so much now that it's okay, how do I actually pull this back?
Yeah.
And get back to almost how I started.
Yeah.
And being more of that creative director. I know I still have to do a lot of admin things, but
sure.
But I want to do it, and I want to be a leader to my team in that capacity, not as a reprimander or somebody that's talking about, I don't even know, goals. And I love the goals things too, but it's I want to dream with them in the creative space, not and that stuff's important too, but somebody can do it better than I could.
Yeah.
And I'm a feeler. I don't want to live in corporate world. I want to live on the other side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's attention to that. Obviously we're talking about a sweet spot, but there's still going to be things that don't fall into that. And I think that's true for everyone, that as a business owner.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how often someone's really good at a role.
Mm-hmm.
And so in our American culture, we're like, well, let's just move you to the next one.
Yeah.
You're just going to go on
Keep
up.
going. Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, that's very true, where it's like, I'm going to build this business of something I'm really good at. And then what is the next step? To manage the people doing what you're really good at.
Yeah.
And it's so common to them be like, wait, that's not what I
actually don't like that.
I don't want to do that.
I don't like this.
I didn't get into this to lead the people doing it. I got into it to
be with the people.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think that's not everybody, right? Some people love managing people or managing all the back end work that goes into a business. I would rather work alongside people.
Yeah.
I care about the people I'm a feeler. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
And if I have to, that's a hard line between those two worlds. And so, I just feel like that is the thing I could do well if it was my only role.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
And so if I had to pick, I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to pick being creative and working alongside a team in a creative atmosphere, not an administrative one.
Yeah. What does that look like? Is it just a continued tension, or do you think you'll make some more significant shifts as far as how you execute that, like visionary, you're leading the business, but you're also still in the trenches? What does that look like?
So we are I did just hire an operations manager within the business.
Okay.
And she in HR. So that's huge. That's going to be a nice shift to remove me from that world.
Yeah.
And then obviously Christian is like our head of finance. So he does all of which he was a financial advisor. That's his background. So like spreadsheets, all that stuff, that is his jam.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him type stuff in that Excel spreadsheet and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. It looks like you're coding something. Like, what are you doing? And so what Christian always says is he's like, me and Mariah is actually my girl who's like my right-hand person who does the operations and HR. And so he always says like, me and Mariah do the soul crushing stuff. What I consider soul crushing and what they also thrive in it. So I think it's also just like you always hear people say, it's realizing your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
It's realizing where you're good, where are you irreplaceable?
Yeah.
And then finding people that are better than you at the roles that you aren't good at. Because you could be good at a role, right? Like I could do those things. It's not like I couldn't. But at the same time, I don't want to be the smartest or the best or whatever person in my business. Like there's no growth there.
Yeah.
And so putting people in those roles that I find soul crushing, they thrive. I'm like, great. Like you thrive there and I'm going to thrive over here. And that's how this business is going to continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best leaders know their gaps.
Yeah.
And they fill them with people.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Because no leader can be everything.
Yeah. I think that's easier to recognize though, maybe when you're not in it. You know what I mean? Like, I think when you're in it every day and you slowly transition into certain roles, you're like, whoa, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Like, how did I get into this role? And when you look back, you can see the dots, how they connected, how you got there. Like, if you really think about it. And then it's like, okay, how do I actually pull back and get into a role back to where I'm good? And how can I put somebody in these roles where they're better than me at them? And then everybody thrives, right? Like, you get these people into their right roles and you get everybody to where they are their best selves. And that's when the company, I feel like, has this organic growth that feels nice. And so, I just ripped off that Band-Aid. I'm like, I'm going to slowly transition out. I'm out. I'm getting out of this role. Mariah, here you go. Christian, here you go. I might need an assistant. Here you go. And I'm like, I don't care what it takes because I have to make a change because this is where I thrive. And with all the big changes and growth that we have coming, before all those hit, I have to make sure that we are a solid ship going that direction.
Mm-hmm. What made now the time for that decision? Was it like now it's feasible? Was it you just realized it? Was it now you're like you're at the cliff and you're like, guys, if we keep going, I'm going to go off?
Yes. I think it was the cliff.
Yeah.
Like I'm jumping and hopefully I land on a different ship but this ship's gone. Yeah. I'm leaving this one. You know what I mean? And so, and that's dramatic, right? A little bit, but I think it was more of, we also are building a huge building. And with that comes probably more staff, more opportunity, more projects. And so I just feel like now before that huge step, I have to make sure that we're just a well-oiled machine. Including myself. Like I can't be all these different roles. Like I have to refine It's like it's that weird spot that nobody really talks about in business. It's not the beginning and it's not the end. And it's not really even like maybe your bulk of your middle. It's like it's that 5-6 year mark, 5 to 7 year mark where you've grown. And now you're like at this weird middle gap where you're like, okay, we've done epic stuff. We've grown a lot. But now it's like, it's that point where you either choose to stay where you are and be content, or you take the biggest risk that you hope is that moment that was the scariest, but also was the moment that got you to the point where like, that was that moment.
Yeah.
That was that pivotal moment that we had to take the biggest risk to get to where we are now. And so I think that's where maybe like a lot of people just don't talk about, like you've worn every hat, you've done all the tasks. Now, where do you actually want to be? It's also a luxury. Where do you want to be? Mm-hmm. Like you now hit a point where you can maybe choose, and that is a luxury. You know, you get to have a choice, and I think that is because you have grown. You know, it is more feasible to do that, and so then it's just making that shift and just choosing like this is going to be my next step. Then, yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I love that. Well, talk a little bit about what's coming up. What's in the next year, 5 years?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the most immediate future, right, is on Shiloh and Monad. We are building a new building. We're building a 14,000 square foot building. And it's my heart and soul is dumped into that thing. I'm excited for the building itself. It's going to be beautiful. And, I feel like it's us just showing like we are here to stay. We're investing in this community for great design. Like we believe in home and this is what we're doing. And we're going to show what great design can look like here. And so that is the most immediate thing that we're working on. We broke ground last week. And so it is cruising at this moment. And I'm really excited about that. We're hoping to open in the fall, early or late. I think could just depend on if we get snow or how the weather holds up. Yeah. And so hoping to open at that point. And then Made for Home and Hannesson Home will both leave the current locations that they're in. So our downtown location and our West End location, we will leave both of those. And we will all be in one space now.
Awesome.
On the West End. Yeah.
That's got to be exciting.
It's really exciting. Yeah. It's terrifying, but it's really exciting. I can't wait to see it come to life. It still doesn't feel really real. Yeah. But I feel like that's going to be a huge launch pad for us as a company, for Made for Home, for Hannesson Home. It's just going to be such a cool experience it's going to be like Disneyland for women. If you love home and all the things, like it's a paradise for that. And so that is what I'm most excited about for the next year. And then I would say in the next 5 years, I mean, that's literally doubling our time that we've been in business. And so I'm like, well, that'd be awesome if we could double what we are doing in revenue. It'd be cool if we could have a second Made for Home location. I feel like Billings will always be our headquarters, but I would really love to have maybe another store for Made for Home in a maybe different area. Mm-hmm. And then I'd love to have some like brand partnerships, either create my own rug line or tile or something of that sort. Yeah. I would just love to be more of a known figure in the design world, in a national realm, not just local.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you're digging your roots here in Billings.
Yep. This is our place.
I love it. Mm-hmm. May not be as exciting as Bozeman, but I think there's a lot here. And if everyone left because it wasn't, it never could become that.
Yes.
And I think what you do here is a big impact in what we can be and the creative expression.
And that's so what we're doing, man. We're going to, and it is here. There's a lot of great companies that do a great job with that, but we're going to do it in a big way too. It deserves to be here. You know, like why wouldn't it be? Yeah. You know, we all should have something that is great like that. And Bozeman is great. I loved Bozeman, and it was a great place for my college experience, and I will always have a special place for that town. But I'm going to bring it here too, because I would say Billings, I feel like, is just a place where, like I said, it does have great design here. And if you look for it, you will find it. There's a lot of great companies here that I admire, and truly, I feel like they're incredible firms, and not only just in my industry, but all the industries. Like our restaurants are getting better. Like there's a lot of things that are just, getting closer to more celebrating of the arts. I hope that continues to go. Even though it hasn't been maybe the obvious place for that at this point, I feel like we're all making strides to get to more of that. And I think if the community continues to rally behind that, it'll continue to grow. But like in Bozeman, I feel like it has it. It already has those things established. People celebrate those things. And I love Bozeman. It will own a piece of my soul forever. Like my roots, I feel like thrived there. I feel like I knew what I wanted to do there. And I would love to go back someday. Like I love Bozeman. Like it would be cool to maybe someday get to, when I'm retired, go spend some time up in Bozeman, Yeah. But I would say like Billings, it just feels like I have people tell us all the time, just move to Bozeman. Like you do so well. It'd be like the cheat code. Like you could go there and just kill it. And maybe someday we will. Maybe we'll have a little thing there. But for whatever reason, Billings just feels like our people.
Yeah.
It just feels like I've met some of the best people I've ever known here. And I just feel like this is our home. This is going to be our flagship. This is going to be our mothership. And I'm excited to just sink our teeth in here and build our mothership here. And where we go from there could be a lot of different places, but this just feels like the home where we're gonna dig deep roots.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Finally, where do people find Hannesson Home, Made for Home? We'd love to just give a place to go, whether it's on socials or tangibly the actual places that they can find you.
Okay, so Hannesson Home is on 24th Street. We're right across from Barnes & Noble. You can find us on social media. You can find us on probably any media outlet, really. And then we have a website, too, if you want to check out that. And then Made for Home currently is downtown, and we'll be here through the end of the year, which is 2025. And so we will be down here on 29th Street, and that is for now. And then into the new year, they will both be on the West End by the new Starbucks on Shiloh and Monad. But you can find us on social media, website. We're not going anywhere, except for physically. We are going somewhere in a year or so. So lots of changes. But yeah, that's where you can find us. Come say hi.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was great to have you.
Thank you. This was super fun. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening. And remember, anything worth building usually takes time. If you like the show, give us a follow wherever you're tuning in. It really helps us out. To see more, check out the links in the description and follow us on Instagram. And here's a sneak peek of the next episode.
One of the visuals that I love when you think about like legacy was a term that Henry Cloud talks about, your wake. It's like a boat's wake, the ripples.
The ripples, yeah. Sure.
What's your wake like? What's it like being around you and behind you?
What do you hope your wake is like?
Whoa.
Personally or professionally? Yeah.
Getting deep, dude.
Well, hey.
Yeah, that's a good question.